We can start with like kind of where it all started, like Sleepless Mindz. Like that's, I guess we'll go later on into how you're also into acting and film and commercials and all that kind of thing, as well as being in like the street dance community as well. But particularly, I want to hear first about like Sleepless Mindz. Like, how did you first come up with that? When did you start? What kind of drew inspiration for that?
That's a good question. Well, basically, I found myself like up at night. This was like a couple years after high school, but I found myself up at night just like constantly drawing. I'd come up with these ideas at the most random time of the night, and I would just like act on that inspiration. So a lot of the time I would just be up until like sunrise sometimes, just like sketching different ideas and stuff like that, just because I had like the freedom of time around that era. But so one of the nights I came up with this image, you know, it's like somebody kind of like facing their hands, and they had like this like colorful brain at the top. It kind of symbolized like, you know, the power of creativity, but then the responsibility that comes with it if you're trying to go for your dream. And you know what I mean? Like, it sounds cool to like go after your dreams, but then when you think about the work that's involved, it kind of all comes to a certain reality. So yeah, actually, this guy right here, this was the original image that kind of like started the entire brand. And we'll have B-roll playing, of course, you can see, get a closer look. But so it's the colorful brain on the top. There's a jewel in the middle to represent the power in having ideas and the power of thought and how everything comes from an idea. The rings represent the achievements that you can make along the way. But you see that tear, and like the hands are kind of withered just to show all the hard work that you go through, and the doubt and other people's doubt, the doubt in yourself that you got to go through just to make it.
And how old were you coming up with all these ideas?
Oh man, I was probably like around like 21, 22, something like that.
That's fire. Yeah. Were you big into like just like painting and you know, sketch art, things of that sort at that age?
Sketching for sure. Drawing was like my first like artistic expression that I really like dove into as a child. Painting came like way later. It came like a couple years into the brand. And I guess from that point, when did you realize that this could be something greater, that you can actually like take this on as like a business, or like have this be what you do full time? Honestly, it was like the community support, like the reaction from some of my friends. I did that image. It was one of the first times I actually took something and like did it digitally and colored it in on Photoshop and all that. And then I had it on my phone, and I was just like showing some of the homies. I was just like super proud of it. Yo, I kind of want to do something with this. I don't know. I kind of want to see. I might put this on a shirt or something. And like, yo, you should do it. And I booked like one of my first commercials and got the money from that, and then just threw the whole thing into making a collection, and just went all in. And then the response was dope. Like, people were just supporting it, and that's when it kind of took off. I was like, yo, if I can do this, it's possible. What year would you say that was again? I know you talked about how old you were, but this was like 2015, something like that. Like 2013, I was kind of playing around with the idea, showing people. Yeah. And then between 14 and 15 is when I was like doubling down and actually trying to like do this, like get the blanks and learning how to do that, and like finding a print shop and all that stuff. I find the reason why I asked what year or what particular time period is because I'm really into like the creatives on like the internet and the things that people are doing, particularly from like a media perspective. So like the different creators, like for example, Mr. Beast. I don't know if you know Mr. Beast. No, I don't think so. He's I would say probably one of like the biggest creators on YouTube right now, where like all his videos are like super like I would say high budget, because it's like we're gonna crush a Lamborghini in this massive like shredder that we have.
So it's like
I think I may have heard of him actually.
But it's like you're like, we're gonna try out this experiment in our backyard as like 19 or like 24-year-old kids. So it's like they have a lot of money to like just do all these cool experiments with.
Yeah.
And the reason that reminds me of that is because around that time, Jimmy, the guy that started Mr. V, he talks famously about how he would have studied like all the YouTubers that were doing their thing back then, and that they were kind of putting money towards other things. So he was like, let me just reinvest all the money just back into what I'm doing, like making the videos, right?
Yep.
And it's the same kind of like entrepreneurial mindset that I think a lot of like younger adults or younger kids had back in like 2015, around that era, where it's like, yo, whatever money I have, like I'm gonna put it into what I'm doing. Facts. And just kind of go full-fledged on it. I have time to mess up. If I do, so be it. But like, it's the courage and I guess the willingness to bet on yourself, I guess, at that point.
No, that's facts.
Yeah,
that's
that just reminds me.
I think around that time too, like you could go onto YouTube and find anything at that point. So it's like you had the inspiration to see what other people are doing. Globalization was happening because you can just see everybody in every part of the world doing their thing. So it's like, oh, if they can do something, I can probably do something in my neighborhood too, or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. When you started, did you have any like family support, or did you have anybody kind of helping you, or was it just you on your own?
No, actually, but they actually did have support. My family definitely was very supportive of it. They've always seen that I've been like super interested in art, and they're like, hey, as long as you can like support yourself somehow, like we'll support it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
was that one of your family members? Because I remember when we first clicked up, it was at the I guess it was the Juneteenth or the it was the Juneteenth celebration in Vancouver. Not this year, but last year.
Was it at Sunset Beach?
Sunset Beach. Yeah. When I first locked in with you, and I was like, yo, like we gotta like get together, do some content. Was there some of your family that were with you at that time?
Yeah. My mom was actually there. She was doing her thing too. She does catering. With, like,
dope.
Ghanaian food.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was doing her thing there too.
That's
so,
fire.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it was. I remember looking and I was like, this seems like a family affair. Like it seems like, I didn't know if your mom or like you had other family members that were helping you like doing the clothing or anything. But it looked like they were there, like, you know, on their stuff as well too. That's what I was getting.
Sometimes you know, they just pull up. Sometimes my brothers will just pull up and just like chill, or like be like, yo, you need help with the booth, and it's all love.
That's fire. So I guess at that point, to kind of go further along the story, or I guess the line that I'm thinking how things happen, you start kind of did you kind of jump full force into it, or were you doing something else on the side at that particular moment in time?
Oh man, I was working like white spot as a dishwasher.
Like, get it how you can kind of thing. Yeah, for sure.
I was like,
but we all been there.
Exactly, bro. I was like about to get into nursing and stuff, and I actually like veered off of that path.
You're about to be a nurse?
Nurse, yeah.
A male nurse.
Yeah, I was about to hear nurse, bro. I was about to do the whole thing, like, and then I was just like, yo, this doesn't feel like it's me. I was definitely doing it just for the money, and then my parents were like, yo, this is guaranteed stability. So I get that part. But yeah, I was just like, I'm not feeling it. Like, I feel like there's something more I want to do, and it should be in line with something that I love.
I think I think a common trait amongst just creatives, whether it's in no matter what medium, whether it's clothing or videos or music, I find it all in the creative field. It's kind of thinking that there's more out there for you.
There's always like some sort of like tug at your soul that's just like, you
can't just settle for like, you know, a high level manager. I've seen high level managers quit because they want to go make YouTube videos.
And
it's like, you know, maybe they're successful at it. Not everybody can do it, but they leave it just because it's their passion.
At the end of the day, it's something that kind of, you know, Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, it's like you have a burning desire, and that's also part of like why the logo is the way it is because like it can feel like a burden too, because it's like it's not gonna leave you. You're always gonna wanna that'll always be in the back of your mind, like whether you pursue it or not. Some people are just like, oh, I could have been this, or I really wanted to be a musician, but I did. So
I remember hearing that one of the biggest regrets is like, or one of the biggest, I think it's one of the biggest regrets. I'll put the quote up or something, but it's like the biggest regret is not having done something that you've always wanted to do in life. Like thinking back, it's worse to regret than having done and not.
Even if you fail, at least you try.
You guys, that's what I was trying to say. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Anyways, I was gonna talk about how I see a lot of like positive messaging in like your like say your Instagram stories, like whether it's the art that you're fucking with that day or that moment in time, just kind of throw it up, or a quote that you saw that resonates with you, you kind of post it. Do you always kind of carry that I don't know, I see positivity when I see it, at least.
Hey, thanks. That's what I'm trying to do, honestly. Like, I'm like, if this kind of, because it's not easy to, try to take that risk on yourself and try to do what you love, right? So I think if I see a message that kind of resonates with me, I'm like, there's got to be somebody else out there who messes with that too. And I hope that if they are going through my story or something, at least there's like gems in there that I can at least pass along. Like, if it's not directly from me, at least it's something I heard from another great or something like that I can at least help to brighten somebody else's day. Yeah.
And I think that's a common trait that I see in a lot of successful people. Like the successful artists are the ones that put their heart and soul into songs that like go on and other people feel that, and they connect with it. So even if it's just scrolling through Instagram and seeing something that you feel within that moment, and knowing that like you went through it, maybe there's somebody else that's gonna read that and feel something in that moment when they read it too. That's like a common trait that I noticed. That's dope. So yeah, I guess behind the scenes you were talking about kind of what inspires the graphics, and I guess you mentioned a little bit of it now. It's very like Sleepless Mindz, I guess, first impression. What do you think that people see when they see your designs for the first time, like when they see all the clouds and the name Sleepless Mindz? Like what do you think that their first impression might be?
It's interesting because I feel like there's two aesthetics that I'm kind of playing with. One is the original logo that I showed you. For that one, a lot of people, it can be from like kids to parents. Some parents are like, oh, I'm sleepless too, like just taking care of these damn kids and like working and doing all that. So they resonate with that without me having to say anything a lot of the times when I'm doing pop-ups. When it comes to the clouds though, it's like a feeling of like childlike, and, like optimism and just feeling a feeling of lightness, like a sort of like the simpler times when you don't have to worry about bills and you're just like, I'm just gonna link up with my homies and play outside all day. Like that's the feeling I'm trying to bring back, and the clouds kind of represent that daydreaming aspect, like keeping your head in the clouds, because
for sure
that's where you get some of the dopest ideas sometimes.
For sure. You took it right out of my mouth, bro. Simpler times when we didn't have to pay bills. That's the one thing that no cap. But yeah, exactly. Like that's what I get, and that's what I love about it too. It's for me, my thing this year is like I went to Disneyland earlier this summer. I'm trying to do a lot of like I don't know if I want to call it childlike activities, but things that you would do like to feed your inner child. Maybe your parents would have taken you back then to help curate your imagination or whatever it might be. But I'm trying to do a lot of those type of things that like and still live within my childhood.
I hear that. That's important.
And so seeing a lot of these, that's what it gives me. It gives me like not childish, but living within that time when things were simpler.
Yo, you've been to that Super Mario World?
Bro, no, I didn't.
I want to go so bad, yo.
Is that in California? Where is that?
I think it's in California. I think it is, yo.
I'll have to make one more stop. Pop in real quick.
I'm still trying to meet somebody who's been. Like, just tell me how it was, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, but I had a great time in Disneyland. It was honestly like, I really felt it was like I was there with my girlfriend, and we were just there riding the rides as though, say, we were kids, I guess, but we had fast pass, maybe we like sipped a little bit before we pulled up. It was one of those things, like as adults having fun.
That's the best, dude.
You went to LA sometime recently, or have you been spending a lot of time in Cali? Or?
I've been trying to go back and forth. I'm trying to make it more frequent.
Okay. Yeah. Have you met a lot of people? A lot of like I guess in your space that you're able to like I don't know how much you can really collab or what you even want to say, but have you met a lot of people while you've been out there? Or?
Definitely. I'm still trying to get to that point where I'm building that network of people and homies and new relationships down there. So I think it's going to take a little more time, but I've definitely met some amazing people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential for sure.
So I was scrolling one day and I see a clip of you, Ray Shremmerd, Mike Will.
Yeah.
Tell me about that day. Tell me about how that kind of came to be.
Yeah, so that was in Atlanta. We went to Atlanta for this art show, the Black Boy Art Show.
Okay.
My homegirl Bree, she showed me that. She sent me this thing. She's like, "Yo, they're doing this, and you should probably like check it out. It's gonna be lit." So I was like, "Okay, you know what? Take this risk. Let's do it." So went down there. It was a super dope event. Yo, tell me how like we're the last people to pack up. It's me, Bree's helping me, and there's two other people packing up their booth, and the whole space is kind of empty, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, this entourage kind of comes in.
15 dudes around the corner.
And they're just coming through the space. It's like this big warehouse space, but there's also this like mysterious like side room that's kind of blocked off. But like if you walk past it, you'll see like a random like old school whip and like some art on the wall and stuff like that. It's like, okay. So we come in, and then all of a sudden I see like Sway Lee. I was like, what the hell? Like, no, that's not. And it was him, and then like him and like some other people. You're
holding your clothing like in that moment?
Bro, I'm like halfway packed up. I put everything back on the rack.
Yo, we're set up shop.
Put everything back. This is a private shopping experience.
That's what's
So
up.
they came through one of their homies, Trey, who's been like super dope. We're still like connected, and he's been like, he was going crazy over the stuff. He was trying to get Sway, like, yo, check this shit out. Like, this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
And like showing them all and stuff. So he was a real one for that. Like really just like, yo, this shit's fire. And then Mike Will came over. He liked this one other Pepsi jacket. He bought that for him and then their DJ. And then there was another sale we made. And we were just chopping it up for a bit, bro. But it was surreal. It was surreal. I was like, yo.
And that's one of those things where like it's just perfect timing.
Yeah.
You can't even
couldn't have been any more like if we left earlier or whatever, if we weren't on black people time, we would have missed that. Yo.
Oh god, yo, I guess that's the one time where, okay, you pull up a little bit late, you gotta take a little bit more time to clean up. But,
exactly.
You know,
but
you never know who might pull up.
It was like after that, then they all just kind of like reconvened into the side room, and then bro, you start hearing like Mike Will's like making a beat from scratch. Like you start hearing him like whipping up something, and it was fire too. I was like,
that's incredible. That's incredible.
This is crazy.
So what drew them? Like, did they say like what kind of pulled them into what they were seeing? Like, was it the Pepsi, I guess the varsity type jackets that they saw and were like, yo, like I kind of want that?
Yeah, it was definitely the NASCAR jackets that got them.
Gotcha.
And they saw the clouds and the patchwork, and they're like, oh snap! Like, yeah, they were definitely fucking with those.
That's what's up. And I guess. Yeah. Wow. Did you end up like connecting, or were you able to like stay connected? Did you get like a repost in any case? Like, were they anything of that sorts?
Yeah.
That's
a couple
dope,
stories here. Trey, who like was really like hype about it. He like he made some like posts about it as well and went out of his way. Like he said, they also got it in a music video as well, one of the jackets too.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Have you been back to Atlanta since that time, or?
Nah, I'm dying to go back.
I'm trying to go. Yo. What do you recommend in Atlanta? Like, well, when you were there, like anything to eat or anything to do?
Man, I can't even think. Shoot, I gotta go back.
Let me know later on.
I'm gonna hook you up with a list for sure.
Because I'm gonna go back. I need to know where the eats are, where the oxtail rice is, all that stuff when I go. What goes into making some of these coats? Like, how many hours are you putting in? If you even like recollect something like that.
Like 45 minutes for not playing.
I was about to say,
no,
it's a mass-produced these.
A jacket can take up to a month, sometimes longer, depending on like where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
What else is going on, or just to come up with some of the inspiration.
Yeah.
I've had times where I've rushed it, and I'm like, sure I did it, but I didn't feel as satisfied with it. So
yeah.
Now it's like I'm trying not to rush the process, but I'm also trying not to, procrastinate at the same time.
That's one of those things, because you want to make sure you put your most like delicacy in, like, because you might have like high clients such as that where they are buying it for the quality you put into it.
And I want it to be really intentional. So yeah, it can take up to like a month, maybe a little longer, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's always standing back is worth the wait. In the process, I'm like, oh. like you really got to remind yourself to trust the process.
Absolutely.
But once it's done, you're like, okay, it was worth the wait. Yeah.
Now, I particularly remember seeing a photo of you, and there were like, I don't know how many models there were behind you, but they all had one of your pieces of clothing on. What was that? It was at the fashion show, the African Fashion and Art Movement, AFAM.
Yeah.
That photo alone just goes to show, like, I don't know what it is, if it's when it comes to all clothing creative directors or whatever else it might be. Seeing that photo, it tells the story of like what they kind of like, each piece you're seeing it just in the one photo, and you're getting to kind of see all the how this one relates to that one, and how this one, how it's all a collection. And I was highly impressed by that. How did you kind of find that you were ready to present your clothing in that way, like in a fashion show or whatever else it might be?
I would say it started like, it was very humble beginnings with fashion shows. Like, I'm trying to remember what my first one was, but again, it comes back to community, like just being put on, honestly. Just somebody seeing something in what I was doing and being like, yo, you should like bring your stuff. And so it was one of those. I remember Van City Street was a thing a few years back, and they really put me on. They showed a lot of love. And then, that's a good question. I really gotta like look back and see what the first. My homegirl Christine. She's now living in Morocco, but she definitely she's doing her thing too. She threw together a fashion show at Fortune.
Oh, okay.
And that was one of the ones that really like. It was like a solo show situation, but it really gave me that confidence, like, yo, this is possible, and like to have all the models and friends support and stuff like that. It was amazing. So shout out to Christine for sure for that one. Yeah,
and I guess it takes a lot of courage, because your work's being presented to all these people like in the room at the same time, and it's up to interpretation at that point. Like,
for sure.
I haven't seen well, actually I have seen some crazy fashion shows, but for the most part people are respectful, but they're taking in what you spent months and months creating. So big ups for that, honestly. When I saw that, I was like, okay, he's like fully in this. There's no doubt. Like, you can't doubt it at that point. And I've seen like a bunch of people that you had. Anybody notable, or I guess everybody notable, but did you just have like some of your friends that were walking for you, or how did your selection process?
Yeah, with AFAM, they actually have a whole model roster.
Gotcha.
So they kind of assign models for each designer in a way, and then you can kind of mix and match and stuff like that. And then one of my homies I got in there too was my boy Tony Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
He's a homie that I perform with as well, like dance-wise.
Right.
So we got him in there too, and that was dope. I think it was like his first runway experience. So
and
super hype about that.
And I guess we'll get into a little bit later, but Tony's also he's involved in your role when it comes to dance as well. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll definitely jump back to that. We'll talk a little bit more about Tony. Battle of the Brush. That's one thing. I guess by the time this comes out, you may have already completed that. But tell me a little bit about what that is. Like.
Yeah. So my boy Andre, he has his ethos goes by the name of Passion and Desire.
Okay.
He's an amazing artist in Vancouver. He does like 2D and 3D work. But he actually hit me up about it, and he was like, yo, it'd be cool to like team up and do this thing. The theme is villain, so we're just on our like demon time sort of energy with this piece, really trying to like bring out that energy. But honestly, props to him, because he hit me up with that opportunity, and I had to jump on it right away.
And so what's the competition? What will it consist of? Do you know? Like, are you guys just going to be painting?
You guys get to vote on who the winner is, and if you like what you see right now, one of these pieces could be yours. It could be on your wall by tonight, by tomorrow.
Is it for charity? Is it like the best one wins?
Essentially it's the best one wins. You win a cash prize. You got 80 minutes to do your thing.
Wow. Okay. And blank canvas.
Yeah,
Okay.
canvas, and you're battling against like other artists, other duos doing their thing at the same time.
Nice.
So it's my first art battle, honestly. Like this is the first time I'm doing it competitively.
Go for the dub, bro.
Let's go.
I'll cheer for you.
Go.
That's what's up. I remember I had heard much about you beforehand, but I remember particularly the first time where I was like, damn, like this guy's really doing his thing. Is when I saw the picture of the Canucks jersey that you designed with, like, I think it was one of the players on the ice. Tell me, for anybody that maybe doesn't know the story about how that essentially came about and how you ended up designing one of the, or I guess the Black History Month jersey for the Vancouver Canucks. Talk about that.
Yeah, honestly, they hit me up out of the blue. Like, at least to me, like they hit me up in the DMs on Instagram, and I was like, this is the real Canucks page or whatever. And I checked, and it was. I was like, oh shit. So they basically asked if I wanted to, they presented me with the opportunity, and they said that, like, yeah, some people from our team have seen your work, and we think that it would be dope to collaborate with you. And I, of course, had to say yes. So I was like, yo, let's get it. So yeah, it was a series of meetings, an NDA, so I couldn't like tell any of the homies.
Yeah.
Like all on the low, but the whole time I was just like, yo, y'all don't even know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was an interesting experience being able to do that with a bigger brand like that, and to really see how it works. And
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess what was the I guess they released it, was it first they released it on social media, or was it on February 1st? Because it released, it was for the whole month of February, right?
Yeah, so they dropped the picture first, and then that was kind of what gave, that's how they first like showcased the design essentially.
Right.
Yeah, and then we got to see it on the ice, like, and physically, and that was crazy.
How did that feel? Like, because I don't know if there's many tales of people just from the city that got to design the jersey or the specialty jersey. You're like one of, I don't know, probably a very small group of people. Like, how was it telling your family about, have you always lived in Vancouver, or?
I was born in the East Coast, so I was born in Nova Scotia, but pretty much raised out here my whole life. So yeah, like the Canucks was something that, like, my family, like, we were watching that when we were really little.
As
like,
a youth, bro, just watching the games,
watching that, and like before I started getting into basketball, like me and my little brother would just like play hockey.
Stick hockey for sure.
Exactly. So it was definitely like a proud moment for my family. My parents were super proud. And we got to go to the game and everything, and they saw like how much they were like hyping up the jersey, and they were just lit up. They were like, yo, this is surreal. My mom's like, when's the next one? I'm like, let me work on that. It's in the works.
For sure.
Yeah, so
I know a lot of people that kind of start off doing something in their field that's, and I'm not saying this maybe in your case, but where family maybe doesn't, they wish for the best for you, so they want you to jump into something, like you said, a little bit more stable.
For sure.
Was that a moment where they were like, okay, we can see how?
Definitely.
Yeah?
It was definitely one of those moments.
Yeah. Talk about how that feels too, like how, you're seeing something materialize in front of your face.
Man, it was crazy. Like, it just felt like it was confirmation that I'm perhaps on the right path. Like, I received confirmation before from the homies in the community and all that stuff, right? But doing that, it was just like, oh, there's bigger eyes on this than I thought. Yeah. And it gave me a sense of pride, but also a sense of even bigger responsibility as well.
Right.
Yeah. And
it definitely comes with it, because like you say, especially with sports teams, these are high representation franchise and organizations. Exactly. So they're not trying to look for the person that's, just doing it just to do it. They're looking for people that are serious, that understand the process that comes with things, and can hold the brand up as high as they would hold it up, being just themselves. So that's dope. That's really, honestly, I can see, like I said before, like that was when I was like, okay, this, like, he's doing his thing for real. And then it might have even been that moment, as well as kind of, maybe I'll talk about maybe a little bit later when it comes to the acting, what I saw on TV, and I was like, okay, all right. When is it that you started? Was it something that you've kind of always, have you always been immersed in the dance world, or did you kind of take it on maybe a little bit later?
I'd say I definitely took it on a little bit later.
Okay.
I first saw my homie do the moonwalk for the first time, which was the first time I seen it in person.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like
that'd be the move.
I was like, I didn't know I knew anybody who even knew how to do this. Like I made him, like I forced him to teach me. I was like, you have to teach me this before you go.
Yeah.
Taught me the basics, and I was like super like trash at it. And then,
Yeah.
bro, after that I was just in the kitchen with the socks, just like practicing every single day. I was obsessed.
For sure.
I was like, I gotta make this look like the way MJ's doing it. And then after that, it was just like, it pushed me more into discovering more about, like, I'd watch his like live shows.
Okay.
I seen his music, like a couple music videos, but the live shows was where he would just go off. So I was studying that. That was kind of my introduction to street dance, honestly.
Right.
I'd see like he'd be doing like certain moves, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what popping is. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing some, okay, that's hip hop and all that. So, yeah, honestly, like I was just like studying him, and then I moved to Ghana for 3 years when I was in grade 8.
Okay.
So that kind of like put everything to a halt. I was just like, studying, school, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and then that's when I really started to pick it up again. I learned about the twins, Les Twins.
Les Twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, if you haven't checked them out,
I haven't checked them out. Is that like tell me about them? Like where
they
are they
are
from?
insane. They're from Paris.
Okay.
And they're street dancers, but they were battling and going through that circuit and everything. But like I saw there was this one like when people were actually on worldstarhiphop.com.
Yeah.
This video was viral, and it was just them in the studio after teaching a class, and they're just freestyling to some music that would be so hard to like dance to, but they're catching all these beats, and then they're in sync at the same time, like but it's freestyle. Yeah. So it's just like, yo, like what am I witnessing right now? And
I gotta check them out.
Yo, they're at a point right now. They've won so many battles and have made their way up the ladder that they're like touring with Beyonce right now.
Wow.
So
Okay.
They're touring with her for the second time, but they still battle and just destroy people. It's insane.
Wow.
It's insane. So one of my favorites, but the thing about them that I love the most is that they were able to move to the music in a way that like you would never think, but it's so accurate to the way it sounds,
right,
and the way that they interpret it, and the emotionality and the character that they would bring to their movement was just like, it was like next level. So that kind of like brought that spark back once I came back to Canada, and then I was just like, okay, I'm definitely, I haven't lost my love for dance at all. Like I just picked it right back up and started working on my own stuff in my own style.
So I guess that's where Tony comes into the picture, right?
Yes, yeah. This was actually, it's how many years ago now? Maybe 4 years ago is when I met him. I was in a group called Immigrant Lessons at the time. It was like a dance,
sorry, what's it called?
Immigrant Lessons.
Immigrant Lessons.
Yeah, it was a dance collective.
Okay.
And we're just all from different parts of the world and stuff. So we're all like, doing that. We're rehearsing at Robson Square. And then I see this one homie, he's like kind of in the corner doing his thing, practicing.
Right.
But I'm hearing the type of music he's dancing to, and like the moves. I'm like, yo, this is his music is fire. And I'm like, he's playing 1 or 2 songs that I've like heard before. Like these are like SoundCloud songs, like no mainstream, just like, And I'm like, yo. So after we were done rehearsal, I walked over. I was like, yo, like, you're fucking dope. Like, yo, you want to battle? So we just did like 2 rounds
on the spot,
and then we just became homies after that. And he said that was like, he moved here from Mexico. He wasn't really like, he was kind of like bored and like didn't really have much of a community. And then like that was his first day going to practice at Robson, and then we bumped into each other, and then we just became homies from that day like after. And like that was that. Yeah.
That's crazy. It's sometimes just like moments like those, like you can't write that in it, or maybe you can write that in a movie, but like you can't make it out. Like that's sometimes just how connections happen in that sense. It's a very quick let's get it on, and next thing you know, this is like a lifelong partner or friend.
It's crazy how it happened.
So you guys then went on and did the AFOMAD festival. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
AFOMAD. Okay. What's that? Is that like a festival? I guess it's
it's like an African heritage music and arts festival.
That's dope. Okay. In Vancouver, BC here. Okay.
and they brought out like Burna Boy and other artists as well.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, and then they also hold their own like separate festival once a year, and yeah, we got invited to come perform, and so yeah, we worked on a whole new piece, did rehearsals, and kind of did our thing and presented it at the festival. It was a lot of fun.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I know that Vancouver's making you're seeing evidently like more of an effort to do more programming, like festivals and community events like that, and that's really where I think that this street dancers and some of those art forms really come in importance, especially when it comes to community. So
for sure,
I think there's no better place than Vancouver than to kind of get into. Would you say that Vancouver is one of the best places to kind of get into the street dance, or are there other cities in the world where?
I'd say there's definitely other cities.
Okay,
our community's like still growing. We do get a lot of international dancers coming through, but you still got like Montreal, their dance community is huge. Mm-hmm. The battles they have are like big, like main stage type stuff.
Right. Okay.
Toronto's big, and then you got Seattle, but we got a tight knit community up here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that in various different forms you have like I don't know about small, but I would say more of like a tight knit community when it comes to music or dance or a lot of those things in BC or in Vancouver. So that's dope to hear. I'm glad to hear that and I hope to see more for the community when it comes to street dance. I think that's people like you, like you're meshing culture, you're meshing clothing, you're meshing different things into it. So it's of most importance. I guess jumping on to acting now. Now you're also, I guess, in you have representation, talent management, MoGood?
Yes, MoGood Talent.
MoGood, yeah. When did you first get connected with them? Were they your first agency or?
First ones. They used to go by Webster Talent. It was two people, and they kind of split up.
Right.
But I'm with Maureen at MoGood Talent, and yeah, she's definitely held it down from day one. Mm-hmm. Me and two of my younger brothers have been signed with her from day one. My mom is signed with her now too.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, my dad's working on it too, yo.
For sure.
He's booked one or two here and there, so.
All you gotta do is just do a little audition here and there. You never know.
You never know, man.
You might just get called up. Next thing you know, you're front and center on a Coca-Cola commercial. You never know. That's what's up. I guess you've been provided like a number of opportunities while working with them. Is that the case?
Definitely. I wouldn't be doing commercials or any acting at that level if it wasn't for them.
For sure. The other time that I was gonna say that I had first seen it and I was like, okay, he's on it. Were you on an ICBC commercial?
Yeah.
So first off, we were talking about ICBC on the way here, talking about F them boys. But tell me a little bit how you first, or I guess how you were hit up and how you learned that you were doing an ICBC commercial. And I'll play a little bit of it here in case people haven't seen it. But talk a little bit about what I guess the campaign was for.
Yeah, it's just for distracted driving. So you could say it didn't take much acting for me on my part, but I'm just saying. But yeah, it's just whenever you get auditions, it's usually like a vague title. It's like Project Drive or Project Amazing, and you're like, I have no idea until you get to the audition room and they're asking you to like, pretend you're just driving, or pretend you're just like passing this package or whatever, and then you actually find out what it's for. You're like, oh shit. So it was just like, just pretend you're driving. You look down at your phone, you look back up at the road, and you're like just going back and forth. And that was pretty much the audition. Walked out and I was like, hey, I guess my people will be in touch with your people or whatever the case. and then I got the gig later, a couple weeks later, and
That's dope. How many of your homies hit you up after, like, bro, I just got here with a $370 ticket?
Yo, where's the lifetime, ITBC grace? I wish I got some sort of deal off of that, but
Yeah, like one free incident.
Yeah.
Just fine. Don't drive with your phones, yo.
Hey, no,
Public service announcement. But that's dope. So that's, I guess, the one that I had first seen. I was like, dang, like ICBC, that's impressive. What are some of the other, I guess, appearances that you've made?
Shoot. I've done 2 Amazon gigs. I recently did 2 Dairy Queen spots.
Nice.
What else, yo? Yes. Stouffer's Pizza, Little Caesars.
Nice.
HP Laptops.
He's busy, y'all.
Yeah, the resume's getting big.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you're kind of in the world. Did you do a project called Plaza 2?
Yes, yeah. That was condos in Surrey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I had seen. I didn't know exactly what it meant in the Instagram post, but it was like a not so real broadcast. Was it like an actual CTV broadcast, or was it like a spoof? Or
it was supposed to be like a spoof of like a '90s like Full House type like sitcom.
Okay.
So they filmed it like it was a sitcom, like the intro and everything.
Right.
Just them finding creative ways to promote these 2 towers that were coming up. So we did Plaza 1, and then Plaza 2 was the second project.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I played this kind of like Urkel sort of character with the flip glasses and
the flip glasses
and everything. Yeah, man.
I'm dead. And
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Any other? I know that was it your brother? Because your brother is also in acting as well.
Yeah.
Was he in Riverdale? Or is that another show I'm thinking of that I'm mixing up?
Oh, he did Fakes.
Okay.
It's a CBC show where they basically, it's talking about like a true story about how these 2 girls managed to get these fake IDs made, and they're kind of running a whole like hustle and everything, but they're just in high school and stuff. So my little brother Eric, shout out to Eric, because first of all, he's the one who first wanted to get into acting in the family. So
okay.
He got our agent's attention at his like showcase at the end of his like acting workshop class thing, and then that's how the rest of us got in. So notable mention, but yeah, he got his first fully recurring role, like I think 8 out of 10 episodes on Fakes, and yeah. I'm trying to remember if he did do Riverdale at some point. I could be forgetting, but it's either him or my youngest brother who did something like that. Yeah.
Man, the whole family's working. That's what I remember. I hear a lot about that now, like how parents will say, nah, I'm definitely like putting my like newborn daughter and having her represented by a talent agency, because everybody's gonna get a check in this household. Like, everybody's gonna do something. But I guess it's like an ethical means of modeling for newborns or whatever.
Yeah, my mom kind of, when they first got here, we were like really little and stuff. They're like, oh, like they thought about it and somebody approached them, but like they never fully like signed any paperwork, and they're kind of iffy about it, and they left it. And then years later, my little brother's like, yo, I want to do this.
Bro, remember them agencies back then that would hit I think it was like a Canadian thing, where there were these agencies that would hit you up and be like, we think you're perfect, like we think we could see you on a show like iCarly or this or that, like why don't you come here, we like find a way to represent you, we sign you, and we let you know if there's any opportunity. I think there was an agency, I don't remember exactly what their name was, but they was on some scheme. I don't remember what it was.
I'll try to remember, but there was, I wouldn't be surprised, yo. I would not be surprised. People be trying to make a quick buck.
Everybody saw them, like, do you remember The Next Star? Were you ever that was singing.
That was like a show, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the spotlight? YTV's going coast to coast to find Canada's next star. It could be anyone.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
You gotta be 15 or under.
Yeah, it was a Canadian YTV show where they go to every city, and the lines are on the block of all these people that want to learn how to that want to sing. It's like American Idol, but for kids.
Yo, that's taking me back. Yeah.
They were trying to teach a lot of these kids and I guess rightfully so. And maybe that's why we have so many creative people in different spaces now. But they was pumping a lot of hope in a lot of these kids, saying you are gonna be the next Miranda Cosgrove. Yo, we see you on iCarly.
Like, really? Yo, next thing you know.
I guess maybe a couple of them went through. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, but yo, it's a lot of rejections. I'll tell you that much. You got to build some tough skin. It's like you'll get a lot of no's, or sometimes you audition and they won't even tell you no. You just, the date for the filming will pass, and you'll just realize, well, I didn't get it. Like, you can get so close. You'll get a call back and they'll be like, hey, hold these dates. you know, you're one of the last people that they're like deciding on, and then like even then you won't get like
they won't tell you.
Bro, it'll pass, and then they'll be like, yo, like, did I get it? Like, oh no, they released it. It's like, well, somebody say something. Like, I'm out here,
yeah,
I'm out here waiting, trying to book off work.
Maybe hopefully they can sign that into the new collective bargaining agreements, because some notification like, hey, you didn't get it would be nice. You
like,
know?
just let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with that, it's like you just build tough skin, and you're like, hey, you gotta get up, dust yourself off, and do it again. You know?
Yeah. Nothing else you can do.
Nah, man.
What do you see for yourself coming up? I guess we're on just about the fourth quarter of 2023 now. Jumping into 2024. Whenever this comes out, I guess will be before 2024. But what do you see next for yourself coming up next year? Anything that maybe something that you can't talk about? Maybe things that you can maybe see as like a New Year's resolution kind of perspective.
For sure, I would say, that's a good question. I'll say like just creating more original pieces.
Okay.
I've done the hoodies and shorts and stuff like that, but I want to do more cut and sew pieces.
Okay.
I want to take some of my inspiration from these NASCAR jackets and vintage pieces I've been working with over the years and start creating it from scratch, like from the ground up. So that would be that's what I'm most excited for next year, and that's currently in the works. So
right,
playing around with samples and stuff like that.
Do you see yourself because of course you're like a multifaceted talent? Do you see yourself still kind of dipping in a foot in each of these different fields, or do you ever foresee yourself like locking in on whether it's Sleepless Mindz or your acting side of things for maybe a couple months? Like, do you see anything of that sort, or is it just kind of keep your feet wet in all the areas that you're in?
Man, I'm gonna keep going, like doubling down in all of it and probably adding some more.
There you go. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So expect to see this guy's face a little bit more than you have before. That's what's up, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man. We've been, you know how long you've been trying to lock this in
we've been
for.
trying to make this happen. I appreciate you coming through.
Absolutely, bro. We're gonna put some more B-roll of the studio up here, maybe to wrap this up. But this is a dope space. Is this open to the public at all, or is this kind of like your closed workspace?
No, I love having people come through. You know what I'm saying? It's for the public. People come through sometimes, just chill, play some video games. And just vibe out, yo. Why
don't you drop your Instagram or where they can see the address if they did want to come by?
Yeah,
website or whatever you got.
Sleepless Mindz on Instagram, Mindz with a Z or a Z, you know, depending where you're watching from. And the Beaumont Studios, BEAUMONT Studios. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's in Vancouver, BC.
Oh yeah.
You know, you might be making your stops in different states here. So if you're watching from Los Angeles, you're watching from Atlanta or New York or wherever else, and you got something for this guy, send an email, shoot an email through on the Instagram. He stays busy, so you can already expect that 2024 is gonna be a big year for BrothaJason, bro.
Yeah, let's go.
And thanks again for coming through on another episode of For the Record. I've been your host, KRISTODOTCOM. It's been a pleasure sitting here talking to you. We don't keep these conversations going, yo. We have a good time, especially when we're here. It's very, I like learning a lot about, people like you. So you can expect to see more of these coming up. So, of course, my name is KRISTODOTCOM.
Hey, Jason in the building. Sleepless Mindz.
Check it out. All the information in the description, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Right.
You said a few. You didn't say one.
I gotta get a hang of the buttons here. Oh, I blocked that shit.
You just press back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, my biggest issue is I shake like I have Parkinson's, bro.
He got me.
Oh, no, he really plays throw though. Yo.
Oh yeah, he's a fighting game connoisseur. Bro, if only you had Smash.
Nah, he's getting them fireballs, I can't do nothing against those. Alright, one more.
Alright, bet.
If you had Smash right now, bro, we'd be going crazy.
Yo, I should have brought that.
Bro, if you had Smash, you do? Yeah, bro, that would be the.
Are you good at it? I'm decent.
Bro, this guy takes it personally, bro.
No, I really don't. I'm really not like
this guy thinks he's the best.
Who's your go-to
Yeah,
for Smash? Oh.
Yeah, he plays the worst character in the game too. It's unbelievable. I play Roy a little bit too, though. That one is
Roy's
like
my guy.
He's like one of the best characters in the game.
Honestly,
I'm not as good at it with Roy.
I'm crazy with Kirby.
Oh my god, don't get me started, bro. That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's who I play, bro.
He can fly, like.
Yeah, literally, bro. You go to. You have like 6 jumps. It's kind of unfair. Who's this?
Oh, that's you.
I think what. Is this yours, Crystal? No, it's his.
I'll call right. I'll call right.
Oh shit! Yeah, you got me. You got me.
Got you again.
Alright. You
Good
can
enough.
take that. You can take. Hold on. Nah, you got me.
I know that throw. I don't even know how to do that myself.
Oh! Don't throw it, Crystal. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh shit. You actually got it, bro.
Alright.
Wait, that's 2-2 though.
Okay, tell me. Is that
Loki,
two?
that's 2-2.
Man.
He's trying to get that last one.
Last round.
Best out of 3. Let's go.
Oh my god, this is for all the marbles right here.
He's like, I win the studio if I.
You lose? I take everything in your name, bro. Oh no!
It's over, bro.
Y'all are now
It's over.
employed by him, Certified Platinum Network owner.